So, my name is Alberto Ruz Buenfil. I was born in Mexico. I grew up in Yucatan in the southeast from Mexico. My father was an archaeologist dedicated to work with the Mayan culture. My mother was original native from that part of Mexico. And I decided when I was in my youth that academy, profession, career are not going to be my path. So I took up on the road, and I've been traveling for more than 40 years in more than 50 different countries. And I became in this process a planetary citizen, and I became in this process a witness of history, of recent history. I became an activist for social change and for personal change. I became a visionary, and I became a shaman, and I became a speaker, and I became a photographer and a drummer, and a man with many hats, with many faces, a theater person, a person who can blend into different cultures and be part of the nation's cultures that we visit. And that's where I am. I'm the result of all of that.
I have a specific question for you, Alberto, and that is, how do we manage to break the chain of destruction and degradation of Madre Tierra? How do we break that chain?
Personally or socially?
Both.
Yeah. Well, I guess as long as personally we don't break those chains, if we don't learn, if first we don't acknowledge the fact of the existence of those chains, it's hard to break something you don't think it exists. So we live in such many worlds of illusion, you know. We live in a world in which apparently we have everything, you know, that we don't think, we don't know that we are basically chained to those things that supposedly we have, and that really they have us. We are prisoners from all the things that surround us. And that prison, those chains, are attachment to all those different things. So one very important first step is to start to get detached from so many things, and to find out what is essential in your life, what you really need, what is the things, basic things you absolutely need in your life. Back some decades back in my life, I found out there were only two things that were absolutely necessary for my life. One, my drum, and second, my typewriter. I didn't have a computer at that time, but I knew that if I had my drum and I had my typewriter, so a way to express myself, and the drum to communicate without words, I had everything I needed. And I basically have reduced my needs to that. Now I can even go without a drum, you know. I have a drum and I sing my drum. And I don't have a typewriter, but I have a computer and a laptop, and that's become a very important tool to keep memory from all the things that I think are important to convey and to pass to other people as a witness, and as a way also to preserve my own memory, you know, preserve my memory, because our memory is very fragile, you know, and as we go into age, it's even more fragile. And the only thing I can pass to the coming generations, I didn't create temples, I didn't create fortune. I can pass my story and the stories from all the people I connected in life and that gave me those stories, so we lived stories together. So my only heritage for humanity is our stories.
I'm going to change the question a little bit now and ask you, what is the significance of 2012? Why is it important to you?
Well, to be true, you know, to be true, I think 2012 is still a human date. And I don't think the universe has dates. I think the universe has cycles. And humans try to understand those cycles and try to put dates to those cycles. And that's why there's so many calendars and so many interpretations of calendars. Because every human being has a different idea of what dates are for cycles. So 2012, for us, living in Gregorian time, has a meaning because we're calculating time after the birth of Christ. For the Mayans, it's not. They're talking about back tunes and kins who encompass millions of years. And it's really difficult to try to think that we know what even then